Hi, this is Wolfgang, and I'm here to show you how to use a crystal wand. This here is a crystal wand. It has an end piece. It has different stones that can be used for chakras. They are the colors of the rainbow. And then here is a crystal. The energy will be accumulated in this handle, which is made from copper, and then it's going to be sent out here where, just like a water hose, it will spray chi, energy, or prana. These are all different words for the same thing: life force, a subtle energy that flows at about a speed like that. And for the newcomer, this is a wonderful device. It comes from Atlantis, where it was used for healing and ceremonial purposes. My wife Ishani made those wands in Atlantis in many incarnations, and I used to use those wands in Atlantis. And now I do in this lifetime. You can do any kind of chi manipulation with your hands or straight from your chakras. But there are advantages to using a tool. If you do Reiki or any other type of hands-on healing, the advantage of a crystal wand is you do not have to bend over into your customer, and you do not have to keep your hands in people's dirty chakras. As an empath, I feel the pain in the heart chakra of my person or in any other part of my body in my hand, and in the long run this is a very uncomfortable thing. With the wand I can just project my chi much better and just pick up any energy or pick out any energy and clear out any energy without having to have my hands in it. That is just one of the advantages. The other advantage is that you don't have to visualize colors. You can just put your thumb on any of those colors to project those colors. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. You know, the first idea is for a novice. How do I use the wand? And just by picking up a wand, which will interact with your force field, and smiling into it, and meditating, it is very easy to go into higher consciousness. So these are great tools for meditation. But that is not all. When you take a wand sideways and pass it over your arm, you will feel an expansion in the energy of the arm. The wand shoots the energy this way and just kind of fluffs the aura, the force field that is around the arm. A very wonderful and easy way to clear yourself. It is like a quick Reiki healing, if you're familiar with that. You pass it in front of your body, to the sides of your body, and of course at the back of your body. That's where we hold a lot of tension. Now, as this wand is a tool that enhances the chi that it comes in contact with, that you send in there, it is a great advantage to enhance your own chi, because this will be amplified by the wand. And one of the easiest way to enhance the chi in your hands is to just rub them really good so they become nice and warm, and you massage the fingers. That will get any stuck energy going, and you rub on both sides. Maybe you massage your ears quickly, that will go your chi going. And if you want, and if you know how to, you do breath of fire with a rainbow bridge. And you really get a charge in your hands. And if you just bring your hands together after any of those exercises, you probably feel a pressure increasing when you bring them together. That is your chi, that is your life force. It is flowing no stronger with you. And if you take your wand again and take your main hand, for a left handler, this is going to be the left hand. For a right handler, this is going to be the right hand. And just see if you can feel any sensation when you slowly pass your wand over your arm. You may feel a tingling. You may feel heat. You may feel coolness, or maybe pressure, or any other sensation. You may even feel or see colors coming from the wand. And then you can explore how far away the energy comes. There will be something like a surface that you hit in some way. Or you can feel how it feels different when you pass the wand over your hand. So playing around with this will give you some idea about chi, how to feel it, how to project it. And then you could, let's say you have a bad wrist, you probably, if you have it inflamed, I would use amethyst, which is the violet color. It's considered antiseptic. And just project chi into the wrist. And it's probably going to start feeling lighter and better. And it may last an hour, it might last 5 hours, it might last a couple of days. You're probably not going to do any permanent healing with something like this, but you get a quick relief. Now, if you want to really jazz it up, I advise to connect with the earth and with the higher dimensions through the crown, and take your energy from there. And then you become a transmuter of energy yourself. And then this becomes another transmuter of energy in itself, a projector. And that is when stuff really happens. So what you do is you imagine that you extend roots from your legs deep into the ground, and you have another taproot coming from your spine deep into the ground, and you sprout out those taproots into side roots and into finer and finer side roots, and you may already feel how your energy becomes lighter, more energized, and you feel more grounded. And now you imagine that the earth is your mother, that she is the mother that knows you through this incarnation and all other incarnations. She is smart, she loves you unconditionally, and all your body parts are made up of her atoms. So just like a baby that is suckling from the breast of the mother, in that kind of relaxed, kick-back attitude, innocent, childlike, you approach Mother Earth, and through those roots that you just expanded in your imagination, you imagine drawing her love into yourself with your inhale. And you smile. You smile as much as you can. My standard is to smile like an idiot. The sweetest smile you can. In that way, love can flow. Without a smile, love is not possible to be felt, given, or received. Okay, so we draw the love of Mother Earth into ourselves, into the heart, and on the exhale we send the love from our heart into Mother Earth. In, out, all the way, in all the way, and out all the way. And just keep breathing like that, and you will notice that you become calm, relaxed, very focused. Your balance improves, and you become very happy, and you'll probably feel some love in your heart. And now we will learn how to connect through our higher energy centers into the higher dimensions, the realm of the angels. You put your tongue under the palate. If this is the highest point of your palate, you put your tongue about here. That will balance both of your brain halves, and it will enhance your pineal and the pituitary gland by allowing more chi to flow into those areas. And again, you imagine that you're drawing in this heavenly love into your heart. And on the exhale, you imagine you're sending your love out into the heavens. It is the give and take. And again, you smile as sweetly as you can. And we ask the angels or other higher beings that love unconditionally to help us clear our chakras and to remove any blockages from our communion with the other realms and to protect us. I always ask Archangel Michael to protect me when I do those things, and to make sure that whatever I do is for the highest good, in divine harmony with the most benevolent outcomes. Because if you use power, you better use it wisely, or you can accumulate a lot of karma in a very short time. So that is the safeguard. Whatever you do with the wand, always make sure it's for the highest good, in divine harmony with the most benevolent outcomes. So, and now we try to draw the energy from heaven and earth into our heart simultaneously. And on the exhale, we send it through the wand at about that speed. So, collect the energy in your heart and then send it through the wand to where you want to send it. Basically, as a light worker, as a healer, we become energy pumps. We're not using our own energy. If you do that, you become depleted very, very fast, and it is not a healthy thing to do that. You become a martyr. But if you take the energy from heaven and earth for a good purpose, you will get as much energy as you need, as you can handle, and as you want. So, always make sure that you get plenty of energy and not give from your personal energy. So, on the exhale, just send the energy from the wand into the body parts that you want to clear. and imagine that it's just water rushing out there that clears and purifies whatever you, and energizes whatever you run it over. So you draw the energy in, and then pass it over your hand and your arm. And you try to feel all the way into the arm. For a quick clearing of a client or of a loved one, I start with the legs. I put my thumb on the red and orange part of the gems, because they will energize and ground, and I will use more ground energy, earth energy, than heaven energy, and clear the legs with a swiping motion. I use more earth energy because the lower parts of the heart, under the heart, are considered needing more earth energy. Then for clearing the arms, I will be using pink or green. And swipe those, always smiling, otherwise no love. And chi projected without love is not being accepted by the body as well. And then I wrap my fingers around the centerpiece to access all energies and charge up the front chakras with one sweep. Several sweeps. And you may even feel by the echo that comes back how the energy is being received and if there are any problems in those areas. And then generally with violet, I clear the shumshumna of the person. I have my client turn around and I run this violet clearing energy through the center of the spine, the sushumna, which clears a lot of blockages and will enhance the flow of energy and of kundalini to the person. And then I switch to moonstone and amethyst and clear the upper part of the head, the neck, the crown chakra. I flip to the side. Clear the third eye, the back, and by then that person should be buzzing, and you yourself too. Have a lot of fun using your wand. There are many more uses for the wand. You can charge up your food, you can charge up your gems, your jewelry, you can charge up the walls of your room with love. There are so many other things you can do, and we will talk about those things in another video. Please stay in touch, and it was a pleasure to talk to you. And if you need any help or have any questions, please ask me, and I am available for sessions over Skype and the phone. Namaste. Hey my friends, this is Wolfgang with my healing circle with tools for ascension, and this is part 3. And I have gotten a letter from a very nice customer of ours that bought some wands, and he had some really good results with his wands, but you know, he had some questions. And I'm just quoting from him here. The main thing is that there are not many people trusting and wanting to be healed. And yes, that is definitely an issue that every let's say idealistic healer has. We want to go and heal everybody, and I used to go around on shows and give people Shaktipat. I would just zip them up if they let me. And it's a very, very tricky situation. Your ego can get really bloated and fat, and of course, that unsolicited advice is generally not very well taken. Just a simple example. If I go up to a lady and then tell her, well, honey, you could lose a few pounds, not very good idea. Or, how about, going vegetarian, or, improve on your diet, this and that. So people do not like that. So one important aspect is, which people are actually receptive. And first of all, people have to be able to feel energy, to appreciate what you're doing. So trying, to work with a wand, or just to work with energy, on somebody that is a gross materialist, Joe Six-Pack, is not a good idea. Generally, you have to learn, who would be receptive. And these are, of course, people that work with energy, like Reiki masters, yogis, Qigong people, Tai Chi people, women in general, men, not so many. Even if they're yogis, sometimes, there is a lot of ego there, and if there's another powerful male coming and trying to run energy on him, something in them blocks and becomes defensive. It's a part probably of our mammal male chip. We see other males as a threat, and then this whole thing does not work. The best attitude, for doing any type of energy work or healing work is to come from your heart. This means, you're actually focused, right here, in your heart and your awareness. As an example, if you would have an owie toe, if somebody stomped on your toe or you broke it, your awareness would be at that toe most of the time. So in that same way, your awareness should be in your heart most of the time. So that is the place, where you can have this childlike innocence, and then you are much more in tune, with the divine will, and you will have the support of the angels or even of Mother Earth, running energy, through you, and also people will be more appreciative. They will not think, oh, what a puffed up, excuse my French, what has he tried to prove, and then block it. When you come from a real, genuine space of love, people will be much more open. And then, of course, there are other signs, of somebody that is sensitive. I can generally see this, from the fine features, but there are exceptions. And in general, also, the upper lip is a really important indicator of sensitivity. To me, watch yourself. Sometimes, when you appreciate beauty in nature, your upper lip will just become much larger, much more refined. And when you're angry or just about to hit somebody, you tense up, and there are people that are emotionally very repressed, and I would stay away from those people, but there are exceptions also to that. You always have to be open, and there always has to be, of course, the right time and circumstances. As I said, you cannot just walk up to somebody and say, hey, I think I can help you with your problems. No. But, I give you an example. once, I was at a store, and we talked nicely to the store owner, and I noticed, that she had some problems, when she was holding things, and I asked what's going on, and she said, yeah, my wrist always hurts. And so I asked her, what do you do? What did you do, to prevent this? And she said, well, I have been a nurse, and I tried everything in the book, and nothing really works. And I said, how about, I do energy work, would you like, to try it out? And she said, yeah, why not? So first of all, I asked her to hold her hand. And I basically do the sensitivity test. So she holds out her hand, and I hold my hand, over it, and just start running energy. And, I ask her, can you feel this? And if they cannot feel it, you're going to be looking like a fool. So, don't even go further, Of course, you have to make sure that, you don't have cold hands. If you have cold hands, just try, to warm them up. Or, you don't want to do the rainbow bridge in front of people, but you could, maybe do this here. If there's a lot of noise around. So, people don't even notice that you're charging up. And then when your hands are warm, and you have some good charge in there, you could just feel for yourself, if there is any resistance, when you put your hands together, or, you can feel that your aura extends beyond your hands, and it becomes like a big glove or like a paddle. So, of course, when you are in fear and not in love, you won't run any energy. Fear just makes you clamp up. So, in any confrontational situation, it's like, you think you can run energy? Forget it. Then you probably will go into fear, and it will not be good. But if there's no fear, your hands are warm, you kind of cheat up, that is a good time. And then, you do, your breathing, or, suck energy from the earth and from heaven into your heart, and then project it with a smile, into the wrist or whatever part is hurting. And if that works, and, people will feel that right away, then, you can use a wand and do a clearing on the whole body. In doing, let's say, seminars, the situation is kind of different. People are coming to you kind of expecting, you to work on it. But there's still a lot of people, that think, oh, this is all BS, And so what I do, I use a conch shell, and I blow it just really close to them. I just pass it, I just blow it and bring it up in front of their body, and just that clears people. And that is probably one of the first experience for many people, having their chi or their aura cleared, and that is a really good experience for them. And then I pick some, of the whole crowd. I pick probably the most sensitive person, and start clearing the legs. And then I run energy, up the center aisle, and then, fluff the head and clear the arms. And I always ask people to keep their eyes open at that time, because they get so spaced out, when their chakras are opening, that they might just fall over, they lose complete contact with their environment. So, and then those people that are doubtful, when they see 5 people suddenly going into the higher consciousness, and their face just changes, and they go it will change, and it will make them open-minded, and then I take those. A good example of this is when I do shows. There are generally security guards, and if they see me there, selling crowns and wands, they think, well, this is some new age idiot, and I can see the disdain that they have. And then when I start, charging our people and opening their chakras and bringing them into higher consciousness, they're like standing somewhere and watching. And then generally in a day or two, their whole attitude has changed and they greet me with respect. So, people's expectations are a very important thing. Let's see. My friend wrote more. I feel bad intruding into other people's karmas without being invited. Well, that is a very good point. The law of free will is a very, very important law in this reality here. And but there are situations there are family members or co-workers. We have to put up with their stuff all the time. And so in a way, we really, really want to resolve situations, karmic patterns, in a nice way. And this is what I do. Let's say when I go into the bathtub, this is my highest point, of meditation. The heat, the hot bath just relaxes my body, and the hot water absorbs my low chi, and I'm completely relaxed and I'm floating. And that's where I can go into the deepest meditation, and then I invoke, of course, my own higher self. I invoke Archangel Michael for protection, and Mother Mary, to give a little mother sweet love to this, and Mother Ganges, I like her very much. She really puts a nice, mellow, loving energy into the whole thing. And I also invoke the other persons, the one that I have a problem with. I have had co-workers yell at me, for no apparent reason. So I'm going to check out what is going on. That's generally an indication that there is some karma there. There's a karmic pattern there. So then I invoke, their high self and their inner child. And, they come into the inner sanctuary, and maybe we talk about that, some other point, how to set that up. And then I ask, the higher self for permission, and the inner child too. And if they do not agree, I do not go further. I might, argue a little bit with them. Hey, we all got to work together, for the highest good, and it's probably the best for you. And, generally the high self, say, okay, yeah, this is good, finally, something is getting done here. I've been waiting a long time for this, but the inner child, that is a tricky thing. Inner child many times is angry and doesn't trust anybody. So, you got to talk to that inner child, like you talk to a child, and, explain, how you're coming, from a point of innocence yourself, and you're trying to work out the problems, and, you wanted to help get rid of the old anger, and then I ask, for permission. And if I get the permission, I do my healing work, actually most of the time I'm not doing the work. I'm just asking angels and other divine beings, to do the work. So much for that. Oh yeah, and then of course, that I don't always have time to go into the bathtub and to go into deep meditation. And, and if you have a client or in any other situation, another way is, you use a pendulum. And, there's another video that I made about how to use a pendulum. You can look at that. But basically, I ask ask the higher self, do I have permission to work on that person? And, I get a yes or no. And then I ask the inner child, and I get a yes or no. And then maybe I have to argue a little bit with the inner child until I get a yes, and then I go. And of course, and if you don't have a pendulum, here in public, maybe in church or in a store, wherever, you can just ask simple yes or no questions. Um, Stay in your heart. Don't go into your head. That's very misleading. And the head is an idea generator. Just go into your heart and ask, am I allowed to help this person? Yes or no? And then it comes like yes. And then I maybe double check 2 times. So again, are you sure? Can I do some work on this person? Yes or no? And if I get like 3 yeses in a row, then I go for it. It's then I don't really work out of ego, but out of innocence. Then there is another thing he mentioned. The conventional medicine has been the official one for too long. Also, about 98% of the population lives only in the physical world, making it more difficult for us to operate. Yes, I have had share of that myself. I've had I had to watch, family members dying of cancer, and I was not allowed to say anything. It was not part of their belief system, and it was very, very painful for me. But so it's generally, what to say. It's you might try baby steps, but many times you just have to step back and let them be the way they are, and that is their lessons. That is, you don't have the right to go ahead. And another thing he said also, I feel like my energy does not flow through the wands always. And are there periods of time that are favorable, and are there ones that are not so favorable? Well, there are a lot of things that can prevent this. One is, when you're working from ego, and then the other person is working from ego, then many times no energy is flowing. But when the time is appropriate, you get empowered, suddenly, woof, you're buzzing with energy, and and you're being guided, as you just hear, oh yeah, do that leg more, or many times, I feel a pain in my body, like ovaries, I don't have ovaries, but then I know, hey, that person, has pain in the ovaries, and there is something I have to work with. And then my friend also asked, is there a way of checking the biometric output of chi? And yeah, there is. There is, of course, the easy way, where you hold your hands and you feel like a cushion there, some resistance, and then by running, let's say, with your breath, in a circle, you can extend this and you still feel that connection. Or, you can, run chi, out your hand, and you see or feel this glove extending. You feel it in your own hand, and then, you start using your wand and make sure, it extends, and, feel the pressure in your hand, and then just move it further and further. That is one way. But that is in a way subjective. A much more objective way is to use a coat hanger. This used to be a coat hanger. I cut it and bent it a little bit, but you can just use a coat hanger, where you hold it at the long side, and then here would be the round thing. And the trick is that you hold it in your hands so it can move freely, right? So, you would slightly change it, it would just move. And let's say, I want to measure the chi, so I say, I want to measure the chi, of this wall here, and slowly I approach it. And now here you can see they're starting to cross. So I would say it's around, projects out to here. And let's do this one more time. and it's moving here. Okay, and one more time. I always check 3 times. Yeah, and it's kind of starting to cross over here. Let's just do the wooden door, to have a sample reading. And it's about a foot. And it's about a foot. Okay. And next, I'm going to chi up. And I'm going to give the wall here one good hit. And I'm going to give the door 3 hits. Alright, now let's go and measure it. So again, I intend to read the chi of the wall. Those things, they can move easy. Yeah, definitely moves easy. And let's try. It's already starting to cross, so this would be like 2 feet. It's starting to cross again at about 2 feet. And that was just one hit, and that was kind of painted up down, so a little spread out. Let's I want to check the door here. And it's kind of trying to change here, which would be about 3 feet. And it's changing here again. And one more time. So this is about normal average. I used to give massages, and whenever I massage, I breathe deeply and smile into the body and massage it. And my clients, they would project after the massage, for 10 yards, 15 yards. So it's and this was just one hit. So you can really expand the aura of things, and of course, if you put something into the divine symbol, I talked about this in another video, and you start running energy into that, oh boy, then stuff really starts cooking. I mean, people can feel it. I mean, it is just awesome. So you should try that, if you do Qigong or if you do Reiki, it is a wonderful thing. Another question he asked is like, he said, I've been to your website, and I can see that you're Wiccan. He probably saw some pentacles upside, properly pointing up pentacles. And well, I have to say to that I'm not married to any type of tradition. My wife tries to provide spiritual tools like crowns and wands for any belief system. And I also have been told that personally I have been incarnated pretty much in all the major religions, and in many past life regressions with my clients. I always ask them, let's say they were looking at past lives to learn something, and they found themselves in Sedona doing a ceremony with those vortexes there, Native American bodies. And then I always ask, is there somebody around that and yeah, this is my spiritual teacher over there, and then over there, oh, this is you, so in that way, a lot of people, have seen me, in different traditions. And I consider, traditions, the religious traditions, as thought systems. They're like martial arts systems, like wrestling, kung fu, karate, taekwondo, or actually better, even like cooking styles. I like Sri Lankan cooking, I like Indian cooking, I like Mexican cooking, I like Chinese. They all, taste good to me. They all have different flavors. They all have different effects on you, and I love them all, and I take, whatever benefits me at the time. So I'm not even, from this earth. I have been on many, many star systems, as I have been told, by channelers. So I work with Jesus, I work with Mother Mary, I work with Ascended Masters. But there's only one exception. I work only with beings of light that are coming from unconditional love. So that is all, my friends. I hope this helps you in some way. Do not believe anything I say because I said it. I'm not your guru. I'm not your daddy. Use me as a sounding board, and if something feels alright to you, try it out. Feel it for yourself. And if you find or think that somebody else could benefit from this information, please hook them up with my videos. And love and light, Star Hoppers unite. Namaste.